2025 transfers, let's get into it. Starting off, this seems like a ballsy move, but based off what we've seen in 2023, I've got to say Sergio Perez will be losing his Red Bull seat. However, the big questions are, where would he go next? Who's he going to lose it to? Let's find out. If Red Bull want to have a good future so far, they've got three choices: Yuki Tsunoda, Daniel Ricciardo, and Liam Lawson. I feel like Liam Lawson needs a bit more time in a lower team to get used to it, so then he can possibly come up to Red Bull in 2026. Yuki Tsunoda, is he at the level to get the Red Bull seat? And with Daniel Ricciardo as his teammate, I think a lot of people think that Daniel is going to outperform Yuki in 2024. So I'm going to say the Red Bull seat in 2025 will be going to Daniel Ricciardo. It seems ballsy, but it's better than having Checo in the seat for another year and losing so horribly to Max Verstappen. It's embarrassing. Liam Lawson will probably get a seat, and I think that's the seat he's going to get. He's going to get Daniel Ricciardo's old seat at Racing Bulls alongside Yuki Tsunoda. Red Bull, Max Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo. Racing Bulls, Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson. Mercedes will keep the same lineup. We're going to see George Russell and Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes for 2025. As for Aston Martin, this one's going to be interesting, and it seems ballsy until I explain it. Lance Stroll out. And this, you might think I'm crazy because he's a paid driver, but Aston Martin have set up a World Endurance Championship seat, the Aston Martin, and I feel like Lance Stroll, after 8 years, if he does not significantly improve in 2024, then I think the best chance he's got at a racing seat will be in the World Endurance Championship. So, Lance Stroll off to Aston Martin in the World Endurance Championship. As of his replacement, who better to choose than Felipe Drugovich? Drugovich is their test driver, reserve driver for 2024, and Drugovich proved himself so worthy in the first practice session of Abu Dhabi, finishing in the top 3 for his first session in a Formula 1 car in the Aston Martin. Drugovich, put him in that Aston Martin. Drugovich and Alonso are a good lineup. As for Williams, I don't think we're going to be seeing Logan Sargent. I know that they want to keep Sargent because he's American, but if he does not improve, as of Lance Stroll and Sergio Perez, if he does not improve for 2024, he's out. And what better spot to put him in than IndyCar? I don't know where he'd go in IndyCar. I don't watch IndyCar. I don't care. But what I care about is who's going to go alongside Albon in the Williams. Because I think we all want to see Alex Albon building up that Williams, because we know that Audi wants him. But we also know Audi wants other drivers. And I think Albon should stay in the Williams so that he can build that car up to be great. And also we know that Albon wants to win in the Williams. That is something that he wants to do. It's like Lando wanting to win in McLaren. He will not leave McLaren until he gets the win, which is why McLaren's going to be keeping Lando and Oscar. But as for Williams, Albon and Sargent are no longer a thing. Albon will be partnering with a different driver, and who better driver to pick than Sergio Perez. It seems like a strange move, but we've seen weirder. Alonso went to Aston Martin. Daniel Ricciardo went to Renault. Valtteri Bottas went to Alfa Romeo. It's not impossible. We have seen so many strange driver changes in the past, and seeing Perez go to Williams alongside Albon, who is a driver that got kicked out of Red Bull because he was doing crap, seeing Perez, a driver who's getting kicked out of Red Bull, probably, because he's crap, makes sense. Imagine that. Perez and Albon building up that Williams is something I want to see. Because Perez will be able to keep his seat in Formula 1, and Albon will be able to keep his seat in Williams, which he wants to do. And I just think that's a smart move. It's a good move. Williams, Albon, and Perez. Now, for Alpine, they're going to keep their lineup. We don't want to talk about them. Pierre Gasly, Esteban Ocon, whatever. But now we have to go on with Ferrari. And this is an interesting one. Ferrari will be keeping their lineup for 2025 with Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. For Ferrari, Leclerc and Sainz for 2024 and 5 just seems smart. What about the sister teams? Haas will be keeping Hülkenberg and Magnussen Magnussen's crap, but they're keeping him anyway. Hulkenberg is good, and they're going to keep him. And there is going to be another rookie, not just Dragovic, because Dragovic is a good driver. We want to see Dragovic in the seat, but we want more than one rookie. Like, Zhou Guanyu was the only rookie in 2022, and he kind of disappointed. But we want to see 2 rookies. So, we're going to see, speaking of Zhou Guanyu, he's going to be out of Alfa Romeo. I feel like that seems reasonable. Yes, he's Chinese. Yes, there'll be a Chinese track. And yes, he brings in a lot of moolah. But I don't see Zhou staying in that spot for much longer. He is underperforming like crazy. You compare him to Bottas, he is underperforming. Bottas will stay in the seat. Who is going to go with him? I think it's going to be a young rookie, a young Ferrari Junior, who we feel like has so much potential for the future of Formula 1. It's Ollie Bearman. He topped every session in Baku in Formula 2. He's a good driver, and if he continues on this progress that he's got for 2024, he's getting that seat. And I think if you're going to give a rookie driver a Formula 1 seat, if you're a Ferrari junior driver, you would not go to Haas. We saw what happened with Mick Schumacher. I feel like the car is bringing him down, which is why Mick doesn't have a spot now. He's got a Mercedes reserve drive, but no one really cares. For example, Charles Leclerc. He was brought into Sauber and performed well enough to get the Ferrari drive the next season. And I feel like we're going to see the same sort of thing for Ollie Bearman. We bring Ollie Bearman into Sauber, which Zhou Guanyu underperformed in. Zhou Guanyu can be kicked out and put as a reserve driver or something. But Bearman, put him in the Sauber, put him alongside Bottas, see what happens. Because I think it's better to replace a driver who is not very good with a driver with a lot of potential and put him in a pretty solid seat than putting him in a terrible seat, replacing a terrible driver. It seems more smart to put your junior drivers from Ferrari into Sauber than to put them into Haas. It just, seeing the history of that, it hasn't worked out in the past. Obviously Mazepin, obviously Schumacher, they both lost their seats. But for Leclerc, for example, he was in that Sauber seat and he went to Ferrari the year after. He was good enough to do that. And he got Raikkonen out of that Ferrari seat in 2019 because he was that good. And I don't think Raikkonen really cared. So, Bearman in Sauber with Bottas. I think I've made enough of a point. For 2026, Audi. We know this is going to be a different year, and I've already got predictions for Audi, and I'm going to straight up go out here and say that we're going to see Nico Hulkenberg in that Audi seat. It seems like a wild prediction on paper, but Hulkenberg is someone who's had a talk with the people for Sauber. Audi is a team that wants Hulkenberg because they've seen his potential. You put Nico Hulkenberg in that Audi seat and he will perform. You put him in the Haas seat and he'll still perform anyway. It doesn't really matter what seat he's in. So, Nico Hulkenberg in the Audi seat for 2026. And we're going to see Valtteri Bottas leave. Bottas is not a driver that Audi have been looking at. Audi have been looking at 2 drivers. They've been looking at Alex Albon and they've been looking at Carlos Sainz. So I think Ferrari and Audi are going to do a little swap and they're going to put Carlos Sainz in the Audi seat and put Bearman in the Ferrari seat. As I said before, Bearman could have a career like Charles Leclerc where he goes from Sauber to Ferrari the next season. So you put Bearman in the Ferrari seat, you put Sainz in the Audi seat, and finally, for Haas, you put in Théo Pourchaire. From the lower class teams in Formula 2, he's a world champion. Put Théo Pourchaire in Haas. I know I said before, you put a rookie into Haas and they're not going to perform, but Pourchaire needs a seat. Haas has an open seat, you put Pourchaire in it. And for 2026 too, hopefully Haas would have improved by then on their driver lineup so that they don't mess up, because Gunter's gone now. Hopefully they should improve on that. But yeah, Pourchaire in Haas, Hulkenberg, Sainz in Audi, Bottas retire, and Bearman in Ferrari. Guys, thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy, make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below, and I will see you all in a brand new video. Goodbye!